Hi everyone, today's video is a fragrance video. It's fall and we are going to be talking about fall scents. I have 6 today. This is my selection for this season, what I'll be pulling for, what I'll be using, what I'll be reaching for and spraying. And these guys are what I chose pretty specifically for this season. It corresponds with my mood and intention this season. For easy breezy days when I want a no-brainer, something I don't have to think about at all, I will reach for Chanel number 5 Le. And usually I will have the Eau de Toilette in its place, but this time around I went for Le because actually I'm nearly done with the bottle. As you can see, the bottle is almost completed and I just would like to finish it off. I'd like to get it done because there's just not much there. I will probably be repurchasing it surprisingly for myself, simply because I didn't expect myself to enjoy this. I don't love it as much as some of the other number 5 iterations, but I use it a ton. And although I've been a bit snooty about the new formulation, about the Le formulation, it's super wearable, so as you can see, I've been reaching for it a ton, so I'll probably be buying it, and I might be buying it even in a bigger bottle, because I've gone through this in a year, which is quite surprising for me. It's quick for me for fragrance. Number 5 Le is a wearable iteration of number 5 for those of you who might be a little bit wary of the vintage flair of the original. And it's a very citrusy yet slightly sweet formula with aldehydes being present but not overpowering. Aldehydes are a very powerful note in the original formulation here. They're light and breezy like champagne bubbles. It was released in 2016, so although I call it the newest formulation, it's not all that new. Here we have some lightweight citruses, a bubbly champagne-like aldehydes, some ylang-ylang. It's a nice and easy formula that is going to just wear well no matter what. It's not heavy. It doesn't have a big throw. So if you are a fan of a heavier fragrance, of something weighty, something substantial, meaty, something you can sink your teeth into, this will probably not satisfy your desire for the fall. But for me, for those lightweight, let's go for a little hike sort of fall days, that's kind of where I go. Probably once I'm done with it, I will transition, replace it in my fall rotation, because really it's not going to be lasting me all that long. I'll probably replace it with an Eau de Toilette and focus on that. But Le is going to be a repurchase, surprisingly so. I will keep using it until it's finished. Next, we have an oldie but a goodie. This is Narciso, Rodriguez Narciso, the white cube, the Eau de Parfum of this lineup. It's a wood-based white floral musk, very, very creamy. It's a likable yet extremely sophisticated little gem, and I think very unique in its own right. It has its own perfume signature. It has personality, yet a lot of wearability. This is a difficult one to pass up because it is so universal in its use, so universal in its likability as well. It was released in 2014. This is my second bottle of it. It's about probably half empty at this point, and I'm really excited to start reaching for it this fall because this is a great fall scent. It's lightweight and non-suffocating enough to do well in moderate weather, but also it is very creamy and comforting. It's like an Angora, a white Angora sweater. It's that lightweight and fluffy and creamy. There is even a sweetness to it, but it's not a very gourmand sweetness. It's a very classic scent, and I think the composition is just basically timeless. I don't see how they can discontinue it because it's as good now as it has been on its release as it will be in 10 years. I think it's one of those classic timeless fragrances that don't age, or they're so ageless that they will really suit basically almost anyone. There is a creamy gardenia, there's musk, there's wood. All of that is very clean cut. It's smooth, milky lines, quite a minimal aesthetic that comes into mind, but the fragrance itself is not particularly minimalist. It's just well edited. It's just cleaned up, very intentional, and the creaminess of the gardenia is wraps you into a warm shawl of goodness. It's a very good one, at least for my taste. It totally suits me. It's one of the ones that I definitely wouldn't be without, and I'm very, very happy to pull it out. It's a perfect weather for it. Not too cold, not too warm, although I think it would work well in winter as well, and I've used it in winter. So in cold weather, it holds together really, really nicely. Then we have this guy over here, which is a very budget find. It's Dkny Nectar Love. And here we have a bit of a fruity gourmand twist on what I would consider a summer to fall transitional fragrance. I'm using it up. There's really not much left, as you can tell. I am almost completely done with it. I've been using it in late summer quite a lot. I've been reaching for it because it does have a lot of citrus to it. I would almost classify it as a citrus-based fragrance because the citrus is so powerful. But the beeswax comes through so much that it doesn't quite exactly hit into the citrus category for me. However, it's kind of fresh. The citrus really cuts through the honeyed sweetness that is in here. There is underripe nectarine that plays around in the background, and everything is grounded in this beautiful beeswax, which is why I bought this fragrance. I bought this fragrance for beeswax and honey because I was in a honey kind of mood for a while, and I was trying out different honey-based fragrances, and this guy was really on top of my list for honey-based fragrances. I enjoyed it tremendously. I'm not so sure that I'll be repurchasing. I will finish it up. I'm considering repurchasing it in the future, but there are other honey-based fragrances that I'm very interested in, so I'm not sure if it's worth it for me to have a whole bottle of this guy kicking around, especially because it doesn't come in a smaller bottle than 50 mils. At least I wasn't able to find a smaller bottle easily with decent shipping. So this is in the back of my mind. If I see it on sale while purchasing something else, I'll probably get it, but I'm not so sure that I'll be ordering it special. There is some vanillic goodness to it as well. But in its essence, it's unripe nectarine, beeswax, a bit of honey, and lots and lots of citrus. So quite a fresh, tart scent. Really lovely for the transition from summer to fall. And I'll be using it up. You'll see it in my empties for the year for sure. There's almost nothing left. We have an ever-present fragrance that I've been buying since I was almost a child. As soon as I started having a job, I started buying this guy, and this is a memory of my childhood. Really, this is Coco, Eau de Parfum from Chanel. This is an old school fragrance that for some reason or another is dubbed Old Lady often. I think it's unfair and cruel and rude because I think it's fabulous. It's one of the vintage fragrances. I think it came out in the 80s initially, that is very packed full of flavor. It's the sauce of fragrances. It's so concentrated. It's very long wearing, and it has a myriad ingredients that really play well together. In my opinion, this is a beautifully composed, very complex fragrance. It's pretty niche in the way that it evokes the sensation of the story, and it is a spice-based fragrance. So there are lots of different spices in here. We'll go through what exactly I'm smelling for sure, but it's spices on the base of amber. So there is a lot here that is quite complicated and a bit out of sync with the modern perfumery of today. But it is a lovely piece that will leave you yearning for more because there's so much coziness packed into this particular fragrance. And I'm talking again about the Eau de Parfum. I'm kind of interested in going back and resampling Eau de Toilette. I haven't had it in a while. Maybe I will be impressed with it as well. I don't remember what I feel about it. But the Eau de Parfum is what I've been repurchasing for years and years. I've used up countless bottles. I don't know how many. And it is my comfort scent. Generally, I pull it out as a Christmas scent most often. But this fall, I've been in the mood for a spicy scent to hold its place in my perfume capsule for the fall, and there isn't anything that says more classic spiciness than cocoa. Maybe Calvin Klein Obsession can also be categorized in there, but I've sold my most recently purchased bottles, so I don't have one of those lately. Here we're talking about a plethora of beautiful, fragrant, full-bodied, loud notes. We have coriander, we have a papanax, we have lots and lots of clove. All of that is resting on a bed of beautiful creamy amber with a touch of sweetness to it. There is Bulgarian rose that is blooming through the entire composition and just lightening it up and bringing that classic Chanel rose scent flair to it. Overall, the scent is very complex, it's very adult-like, and it is extremely classic, highbrow perhaps even. So if you're a bit of a fragrance snob, this might be up your alley. You might enjoy this particular iteration of Coco. I am head over heels for it again this year. Last year I was a little bit tired of it, and I was kind of considering perhaps not pulling it out for this year. But this year, come fall, I started craving it. I wanted it. I wanted it close to me. Those comforting cloves are reminding you of the grog or mulled wine of some sort. All that coziness with blankets. The amber really creates that warm glowing atmosphere. The warm beigey, ambery glow. It's a very comfortable fragrance, at least for me. I also do have a lot of scent memories really connected to it and bringing me back into the most comforting, coziest memories I can think of. But I think this is just one of those spicy picks if you want to experiment with spicy fragrances. I would recommend you start somewhere like Coco, because it's a classic, B, well composed, C, extremely tenacious. Also, the resale value is decent on Chanel fragrances in general. So if you change your mind and you want to pass it on to someone else, you can sell it pretty easily. I generally sell my fragrances. If I don't have a lot left, I'll pass them on to a friend, but generally I sell my fragrances. If they don't suit me, they will be finding a new home. This guy though, no way. I'm keeping him and I am enamored and enthralled with it all over again. Like an old lover returning to my embrace. Chanel Coco is here to stay. Then we have another Narciso Rodriguez pick, and this is going to be difficult to find. So if you have it, congratulations, you have in your hands something quite special. If you cannot find it, unfortunately, it's very difficult to find. It was limited edition. It's sold for some crazy money on eBay. But I did want to pull it out, so I am going to talk about it, although I don't necessarily recommend it because it is so difficult to find. I think it's fantastic, fabulous, just beautifully constructed scent, so I do want to talk about it a little bit. So this is Narciso Rodriguez for her Musk collection at Parfum Intense. So this is the intense version. It is in fact quite tenacious and very long wearing. I wouldn't say it's any more long wearing than a traditional good quality Eau de Parfum, but it is a beautiful, beautiful scent. As we know, Narciso Rodriguez generally centers around musks, and that's what their line is really based in, and I love that about them. I really never want them to change that out. So Narciso Rodriguez for her musk collection is kind of a spicy musk in a way. It's difficult to explain because there aren't any spices and there isn't any civet in there by pyramid, by manufacturer's pyramid provisions. But I do feel like this musk is, it's a beautiful Narciso musk, but it's kind of spiced almost. Very interesting combination of notes. On the surface, you do have ylang ylang in there supporting the musk and really florifying it, and creating a more grounded bouquet. The spiciness is really grounded in the amber as well, which is why this is a good fall pick for me. Amber tends to be something I pull for the fall for sure. There's wood, there's vetiver, there's a little bit of weird sweetness that comes through maybe an hour into the wear the most, and it's a vanillic honeyed sort of situation. It's a very complicated scent to try and explain, and it's a very complicated scent to try and experience. I would say that I haven't really smelled anything quite like it before. There is a civet quality to it, which I'm not sure which combination of notes this is coming from, but it's a clean, elevated, and extremely perfected civet that isn't really coming across as such. It just comes across as spicy amber in a way. So civet isn't in the notes, but that's what it's most like. So spicy amber is probably what we're smelling here. I'm continuing to mention it as a civet note, but really what I mean to say, it's a spiced amber without the spices. There is something very special and cooling about that note. That amber is not a very sweet amber. It's more of a introverted, cool amber. And the vetiver really gives it that little bit of lift that the fragrance really does need. The florals give it a lift and a little bit of a wink wink. I know we're special, but we're also lighthearted. And the bottle, of course, it's really lovely. I have scratched mine, unfortunately, but this is an interesting fragrance. This is for connoisseurs of fragrance, for noses that are looking for something they haven't smelled before. But it might not be for those of you who enjoy sweet, cozy fragrances. This is a bit of a challenge. There is a challenge hidden in there. It's an intellectually stimulating and challenging scent. So I'm very happy to have it. I'm using it very sparingly because I want to make it last as long as possible. But fragrances are meant to be used. When I use it up, I use it up. There is about half left in there. So we'll see how far I get with it during this fall season. I'm super, super happy to have it in hand. Lastly, there is another oldie but a goodie. So I'm not being experimental this year. Clearly, I'm just looking for comfort, and I'm looking for scents that provide me just with that. And here we have Powdery Violet based floral, which I normally do have on hand in whichever season I'm working with. But this is a lovely, elevated, adult-like, yet cozy, powdery floral. If you enjoy purple flowers, you will probably enjoy the violets that are in here. There are some powdery violets, just that cosmetic violet scent that lots of people really like, and I really like as well. It's a 2000 release. It's pretty old, and it's been a lot of years that I've been buying it. 2008 I've been buying this scent, so it's been a few years since I've been using it. Not this particular bottle. Again, I've gone through quite a few bottles, and this one, I have a feeling that this is the last season that this bottle is going to be serving me, because I'm kind of running low on that as well. It's only a 30 ml flacon to begin with, so I don't foresee this lasting very long, and I see myself running out of basically these three perfumes this fall, which is kind of sad and makes me think that perhaps I need to replenish some of these items in my fragrance wardrobe. But let's return to Kenzo Flower. It's such a classic, it'll always be kicking around. If you know, you know, kind of thing. If you're into those powdery, beautiful powdery florals, then Kenzo Flower is something that you probably own because it is so widely used and so famous. We have roses and Parma violets that are really taking the first kicking in the first place here, and they are going to continue on that gear over the entire length of the fragrance wear. It is quite tenacious again. It's a long wearing scent. Powdery scents tend to stick around quite long, so Parma violets that are in here are going to linger over a long period of time. So if you struggle with longevity and you like violet scents, then this is an absolute must-have. A lot of white musk in the base. There's some fruits like black currants, a little bit of citrus, freshening it up a little, but this is not a fresh scent at all. So if you're not a fan of quite powdery scents, you will not enjoy this. And there is a decent dose of vanilla here too, so there is a definite sweetness to the powder. This is a sweet violet powder. If you are someone who enjoys Balenciaga Paris, you should check this guy out. I just finished my bottle of Balenciaga, so that is a repurchase also. I am coming up on repurchase time for quite a few of my favorites, so I'm probably going to treat myself for Christmas to a few bottles of my favorites and get them in line because I'm running low on quite a lot of things, or out of quite a lot of things. Anyway, violets. Kenzo Flower is definitely a must try, and it also has pretty cool presentation. I think the bottle is beautiful and very architectural. I enjoy Kenzo. They are a fragrance house I watch very closely because they do produce some stunners. And Kenzo Flower is definitely one of the stunners. By the way, this is an eau de parfum. Eau de toilette is a different beast altogether. Eau Lumiere or Kenzo Flower Lumiere or something like that. That's a different beast altogether as well. So it's not like they're making a lighter weight version of this. They're making a different fragrance. So if you're looking, I'm specifically talking about this guy. Not to say that you can't check out the rest of them, but the flankers aren't quite, like, they're not really all that related. They're maybe a little bit related, but really not that related to each other. So these 6 guys are going to be in my fall capsule. Interestingly enough, I have 3 things I'm running super low on, and I'm probably going to finish up this fall, which gives me, well, pleasure in one way because I love finishing up fragrances, and 2 of those 3 are definitely repurchases. So 2 out of 3 are just going to come right back into the into my fragrance wardrobe and will settle into their rightful place in there. They belong there. Tell me, what kind of fall fragrances do you prefer? What kind of fall fragrance styles do you like? What is the genre that is your favorite? And all the specific fragrances that you're really going for this year. I'd like to hear about it. Let's discuss what's good, what's going on in your fragrance capsules, and we'll go from there. That's it for today. See you guys later. Have a wonderful day and good luck. Bye-bye.